For all of you that might not know me, my name is Josh Jelsing, loan officer at PGS Home Loans. I'm actually the owner and broker of record as well, but really I'm just a loan officer. So thank you so much to everybody that came. I know there's a million places you guys could be coming and learning about renovation loans. It's a horribly boring topic, so I promise to spice it up and make it fun, and you guys are going to get some great information about it. I'm really excited about this program. So who's all been to an FHA, 203K, or any renovation loan presentation before? Really? I'll ask you again. Who? No, but really? Okay, I was going to skip over an entire part of the presentation because I figured everybody had been to one before. In fact, I'm still going to, otherwise it'd be too long. But we're going to be talking about how you can generate more clients and actually close more clients with homes that are by making them into something awesome. Okay? So that's what the whole renovation loan is about. So the number one thing we got to get across, so I talk to my loan officers about this all the time, as real estate agents and as loan officers, you got to bring value, right? To differentiate yourself from all the other agents out there, all the other loan officers out there, you got to bring value. And how many people get my phone call almost every single week? Yeah, right? All right. If I called you every single time and said, hey, we got great rates, that's it, right? We got great rates, and we can close in 10 days. That's pretty boring, and you hear that over and over again. If I kept calling, you'd never pick up, right? And for those that continue to pick up, thank you so much, by the way. But that's the whole point. You got to bring value, and as real estate agents, there's so much value you can bring. So you just got to know where to bring. I couldn't sit and look at you the entire time, Sydney. So that's what this is about. I do these presentations, these lunch and learns, to give you guys bullet points, to give you guys talking points for when you're out talking to clients, how you're going to separate yourself from the competition. Because if you're just opening doors, what are you?
A door opener.
You're a door opener. Thank you. You're just a commodity, right? If I'm telling you we got great rates every time, what am I? I'm just a commodity. I'm not bringing any value, right? So arming yourself, having arrows in the quiver on things that you can talk about when it comes up is exactly what you're looking for, right? And do I think you're going to do renovation loans all year long? Do I really think you're going to get I just specialize in renovation transactions. It's fantastic. No, you're probably never going to close a deal. You might get one or two a year, right? But it's providing the talking points that nobody else is talking about. Right? If you go into a junky home, or what's the politically correct way to say junky home? You go to a fixer-upper, there we go. You go to a fixer-upper, and you're just like, this is the bedroom. This is the kitchen. And all they're seeing is fixer-upper stuff. You're not wowing them. You're not showing them anything new. You're not showing them what's possible, right? So we got to bring value. That's what this thing is about. And if they use the loan or not, I don't want to say it doesn't matter. It matters. But it's value that you're providing, right? And let me give you an example. Let's say the person you tell this program to doesn't buy a home, right? But they're so impressed with what you did, they're like, oh, go talk to Mike and Jen. They set me up with this entire program where I could buy the house that I wanted. It's an house, but they showed me exactly how we can make it beautiful through some financing, right? That's the power of adding value. You might not close that deal right there, but just those talking points can get you more clients. Does that make sense? Yeah. Awesome. So, adding value. What does providing value do for you? I think I just mentioned all these in my rant. That's okay. Client satisfaction and loyalty. Competitive advantage. Builds relationships and trust, you guys. It really does. If you're giving good advice, people are like, that's my guy, that's my girl. Right? They're setting me on the right path. Helps you earn that higher income. So many times I've talked to clients and they're like, I don't know why that person's making 3%. They don't know why, right? But when you're bringing value, you're bringing ideas, you're earning that higher commission. You become a true advisor. I think that's all the status that we should, that's the level that we should all aspire to be an advisor. Not just someone who's opening doors, not someone who's just giving a rate, right? Gives you the right to ask for referrals. If you're coming in and you're actually providing value day in and day out, You can confidently ask for those referrals. If you're just opening the door, you're like, yo, who else do you know is buying or selling, right? Like, you can ask the question. You're not going to get as many referrals if you're not providing value. Understand? And you stay top of mind. When other people have problems and things come up, they remember the person that helped them get through that issue. Your name is coming up, okay? So how are we all providing value? And this, when I say these ones, this is the standard. This is what we all should be doing, okay? Deep local market knowledge, right? Knowing your market. If you don't know your market, you might want to do some research before you show somebody a house, right? Strategic marketing. We all got to have some type of marketing program or marketing plan. Negotiation skills. Like, I know some of you are just top-notch negotiators. I work with you guys. I talk with you, going over different ways that we're going to negotiate. It's a real thing, right? Personalized client service, just give them that, that nice personalized touch. And incredible proactive communication. This one's so big to me. I'm going to go back on this one. Being able to talk to people about things before they have to ask it is such a big deal. Right? Reading the room, knowing the situation, knowing what's probably going to pop up, it's such a huge way to provide value. And thinking outside of the box, providing ideas that other agents are not. And my favorite value add, providing value options that nobody else is providing. Right? Because who am I up against? Rocket, Zillow, Movement, Plaza. Like, guess what? They all got great rates. They actually do. I hate to say it. Like, I can't wait till rates go down and they raise the rates because there's more margin. But right now they have great rates. So I better be doing something to give you guys value. Otherwise, I'm just another Rocket or Zillow Home Loans loan officer, right? So providing valuable options that no one else is providing. I'll tell you this, the last lunch and learn we did was our buy before you sell program, right? For all of you that attended, thank you so much. And we've been crushing it with that program. We really have. I think we're on our 7th one since January, which for one mortgage loan officer, 7 might not sound like a lot to you guys. That's a lot. We've had probably 30 or 40 inquiries about that program just since that lunch and learn. So providing value and giving you guys ideas, you guys taking those ideas, giving them to your clients. That's how you separate yourself, right? And think about, like, while I'm talking, what have you guys been doing to provide value to all your clients over the last 6 months to make yourself different? Right? And then where do you take the time? When do you take that time to create your value adds? Right? And this is not a brag or a flex at all. I had a battle with ChatGPT about 2 nights ago. Dude, and by the way, ChatGPT will give you some incorrect info. Let me tell you. I did 4 slides. And these 4 slides, when you guys get to them, you're gonna see it. It's pretty funny. I did 4 slides. The first 2, ChatGPT nailed it. I'm like, oh, bro, ChatGPT, you're crushing this for me. This is great. The next 3 slides were completely incorrect, and I didn't know until I went back to review it again. Well, apparently ChatGPT gets tired. So for you guys that don't know this, it gets tired, and it gets tired of thinking, and it gets tired of, like, giving you real information. So if you're using ChatGPT for anything, make sure you double check the work. Here we go. I don't know why I told you guys that, but anyways. Here we go. The value add for today. Renovation loans, right? Renovation loans. It's not new. What I'm showing you is new. It's creative. It's a lot more fun than standard loans. But I'll tell you this. I knew when I was calling people, inviting everybody to this lunch and learn, as soon as I say renovation loans, people are like, ooh. Most of you have heard the spiels before, and they're really difficult to do. Okay, but let's talk about renovation loans. Benefits to your clients. Number 1, opens up additional property options. It really does. Buy a home that's less expensive, okay? Buying a home that's less expensive and then being able to do the renovations to make it what you want. Add the finishes that the client wants. They can be excited about buying again, and you guys can be excited about showing again, okay? Keep the money a flipper would make. Who here's flippers making money? Yeah. Right? There's flippers not making money too, but who here is flippers making money, right? They're doing that because they're buying homes that aren't desirable, putting cheap, inexpensive finishes in there, and then marking it up a couple $100,000. If we sell it this way, it's like a personalized flip that they're going to live in, right? Okay? And by the way, I understand that not every homeowner is interested in doing renovations. I get that, right? But it's also how we present it, right? If we tell them, hey, do you want to fix up the property? Like, no. Like, hey, if you want to do you want to fix up the property, make the way you want it, and we'll help and guide you with the finishes and finding the contractor and all that. Okay. So it's how you pose it as well. Buy homes with zero competition or much less competition, right? Unless it's a fixer or a flipper that you're going up against. So what are they going to be doing? They're going to be lowballing the entire time, right? If the ARV, we're going to talk about ARV in a bit, repeat process every 2 years. I love this idea. If I'm a young person, I'm buying crappy homes and I'm doing this program and I'm doing it every 2 years and I'm rolling out equity over. Without a doubt, I'm doing this, right? I wish I had this when I bought my first house. ADUs, this is huge. When you guys see this program, we're going to come back to this. Generational living is up 17% this year. I don't even know what that means, but I saw that stat and I want to repeat it. It's up 17%, meaning that more and more people are just moving the whole family together. Sam's got a listing right now. It's got 2 ADUs in Fallbrook, and he's moving his kids from Big Bear and another one from where?
I should know it.
Yeah. We're bringing value though, okay? He's moving his kids in to all live in this compound that they're creating in Fallbrook. Like, it's a real thing. Because how many parents are out there looking at their kids trying to buy and going, good luck, dude, right? Cindy's got an amazing daughter. Fantastic degree, great job. And she's trying to buy a house, and she's like, if I go buy a house and it's $4,500 a month and I'm living in this little, whatever, it's really discouraging. So it's a real thing. Here we go. So anyways, ADUs, it's an awesome option. And I'll show you, and it's a very realistic option, by the way. List goes on. Benefits to you. Prospecting your database now. You guys, real estate and home loans is a contact sport. I say it all the time. The more contacts you make, the more you're talking about it, the more deals you're going to close. It's just how it is. If you're talking about it all the time, everywhere you go, opportunities are going to come up. What do they say that, Parker, what's the saying, like hard work breeds luck or something like that? What is that saying? The harder I work, the luckier I get. That's what it is. The harder I work, the luckier I get, right? And it's so true. The more you're working, the more you're pushing, the more you're putting content out there, the more you're talking to people and vibing people and bringing discussions up, the more you're going to close. It's just how it is. Show me someone that's working really, really hard and really pushing value. That's not closing deals. Here we go. Increase value to clients. Did I skip my own thing? I did, sorry. Increase value to clients. Ability to show your value. You're more than a door opener, like we talked about. You actually get to sell a dream and a lifestyle. Okay? Increase referrals, going above and beyond. I'll say this till the day I die. You go above and beyond, you're going to get referrals, period. If you do more, people will appreciate that. Okay? Create your own design packages. If you guys are into this, like my wife and I love this stuff. We love going through and trying to make things look better than they do, right? If you're into that, this is a really, really awesome creative way to plug that into your business. Okay? What's that? Yeah, she will. For a fee, she'll help anybody. Convert more deals by spending less time showing homes. And this is what I mean by this one, okay? You're with a client who's got a certain price point. I know so many agents that have shown 20, 25, 30 homes. And there's just something wrong with every single home, right? Kitchen's not right. Bathrooms stink. Carpet's gross. And they don't want to buy because that's the state and the condition of a lot of properties, right? If you don't bring up a program like this, you either risk them not buying at all, or they go to a new build who's going to cut you out and you don't get a realtor commission, right?
That's right.
So make sure you're bringing this stuff up. This is part of this is it now in your arsenal. Right? This is a conversation you're going to have, even if they don't want to. Even if they say, I don't want to renovate a property. When you're on that 9th home and it's still another home, I know you don't want to, but if you put a new kitchen in this thing and you did this and you did that, you did this, wouldn't you like that home then? Absolutely. Right? Okay, here we go. So there's a lot of programs out there. Okay? Fannie Mae Homestyle, Freddie Mac Choice, FHA 203K, USDA renovation loans, VA renovation loans. I'm telling you guys right now, we have them all, okay? And each one of these programs could be its own lunch and learn, right? These programs are great, and I'm not going to poo-poo them and say that you would never use them, because they're for the right person. It's a great loan. I've been able to do these things since 2000, when it came out of the crash, 2010, 2011. I've done one or two in the last 15 years, okay? So we don't do a ton of them, and there's a reason for that. I'm going to get to it, okay? Here we go. When you do these renovation, when you do these renovation properties, single-family homes, condos, 2 to 4 units, manufactured homes, okay? So it's not like you're limited to just single-family. You can do it on any property type. Ineligible properties, demolished homes, not going to work. Can't be demolished. And I guess that really plays into the next one. Raised homes. Anybody know what a raised home is? I never knew what that was, but apparently a raised home is when it was completely destroyed. Also known as a destroyed home. So there we go. It's called a raised home. Mixed use properties can't be like a, grocery store down below, condo up above. Co-ops, investment properties. This is only for owner-occupied and second homes. And then mobile homes on leased land. Can't do that. Okay, and you guys know I can't do leased land or space rent anyways. Eligible improvements. I'm not going to read those to you. You can do a lot of improvements, okay? There's a lot of improvements that you can do. If you can think about anything home renovation, you can do it with these types of loans, okay? There's very few, what am I trying to say? Restrictions on what it is you can do to a house. Okay, if it's got to be, you could add on the whole second story. You could do a completely separate ADU. It's limitless. Okay, you just have to be able to afford it. So the packet was so big I had to do multiple packets here. But out of all these things that you could do through these programs, what do people usually want when you guys are showing homes? Mike and Jen, what's the number one thing they usually want? Ooh, kitchen. All right. Joel, second thing. Updated bathrooms. All right, 2 for 2. Back there, anybody? Melody, what's the next thing they love? Flooring. Flooring's the next thing they love. What's else? Anybody? Throw it out, guys. What else? Windows. Paint. Windows. New garage door. What happened? Yeah, and landscaping, absolutely, 100% agree. Cool, so how much do these things cost? Now, when we talk about cost, remember who we're talking about, okay? We're talking about people who are barely getting into a home, and they're not looking for the Taj Mahal. We're not looking for Caldera Marlboro or whatever it's called, or, like super high-end custom cabinets, right? We want to find nice things, right, that look great, flipper style stuff, which is 100% possible, that they can install with a contractor, okay? I did a bunch of research, and I've done some things myself, and a budget kitchen, and remember, this is we're talking like a 1,500 square foot home, maybe a 1,000 square foot condo, right? Demolition, cabinets, countertop, appliances, flooring, LVP, and you remember this isn't the entire house, just where they want it, right? Lighting, electrical, plumbing, paint, fishing, kitchen, 25 grand. Anybody disagree that we can get a decent kitchen in a smaller house for 25 grand?
It's a small house.
Yeah.
It's lower end, yes.
100%. Absolutely. Okay?
50 for the bigger kitchen.
100%. I mean, it goes 250 for crazy kitchens. There we go. Primary bathrooms. You got your primary bathroom off your primary bedroom. 18 grand. Yeah? Possible? Okay, there we go. Secondary bathroom, like maybe a powder room or like whatever the guests are going to use. $12,000, $13,000. LVP flooring, cost estimate in a 1,500 square foot home, 18 grand installed. Possible? Okay, and remember, you don't have to do every single room, right? New windows. This one I know is true because we did it. New windows, 10 to 15 windows, $10,500. They have those pop-in windows that can go in and out, right? You don't have to get wood or aluminum frame windows, which are going to be $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for a window package, okay? So we got all these crazy programs, USDA, FHA, all this stuff, which are great programs, but why aren't we doing these? right? Why don't we do it? Look at I put a bunch of papers on your guys' tables. Look at like the one that says Plaza Home Loan, if you guys get a chance. The reason why we don't do these is because they're hard to do. They're not easy. And I understand why they make them hard. There's a lot of things going in that they're responsible for, but that's what keeps people from doing this, okay? Getting your contractor approved by HUD, the actual approval actually isn't that difficult, but getting a contractor, who's done a lot of work with contractors? Yeah, a lot, right? I've done a ton of work with contractors. Great people, and just like any professions, there's great ones and there's not so great ones, right? But getting them to show up on time is just one thing. Getting them to fill out an entire 4-page questionnaire, providing their license, their financials, and their proof of insurance, dude, good luck, right? And show up to the house on time to give a proper estimate that meets all the guidelines. It's really, really difficult, okay? Oftentimes, and also with these programs, oftentimes the contractors have to float the cost themselves, right? So now you're asking a contractor to pay $35,000 to get the cost, the materials, everything going, do the work before you can even get a draw, right? So again, these programs, I'm not gonna go all the way back. Those programs are great. They're just super, super difficult, okay? And if you guys want, we can go box by box and go over every single one of the guidelines, but I think you'd either walk out of the room or fall asleep on me, so I'm not going to. There's just so many guidelines, okay? So many restrictions. Now we come to why you guys are here, right? We got a new tool in the toolbox, pun intended. We've got something called, we've got your FHA 2-3Ks, the homestyles, the choice, the USDA rentals, VA rentals. You can do hard money if you're an investor, which is gonna be super expensive. Cash out home equity loans if you've got a client who's got equity from another house, they can use that. Or you have your ARV HELOCs. What's an ARV? Yes, after renovation value, okay? This is what makes everything work right here, okay? Here we go. What's an ARV HELOC? World's first HELOC based on after renovated value, okay? Similar HELOC process and guides. It's just like a normal HELOC, right? You get a checkbook, you get to draw against it. It's incredible. We just add a renovation underwriting process to it, okay? What's an ARV HELOC? You can borrow up to 95% of the renovated value. Of the renovated value, right? 95% of the renovated value is wild. So that's where your estimate from the contractor is going to be so important. HELOC, it has an interest-only payment. You can draw against the thing for 10 years. They could buy the property, get the HELOC, and just not start the project for a while. Get all their bids in, get all the estimates in, right? 20-year amortization, so it's a 30-year loan. 10-year IO, 20-year amortization after that, okay? Second lien position, we don't have to refinance the first, right? You don't have to refinance first. You don't have to have this high rate with points because you're doing one of those USDA rental loans or VA rental loans, okay? Close at the time of purchase or after. You can always start the process of getting your estimates while you're in escrow. And then once you've closed, close the HELOC afterwards. Yeah, you don't have to close it prior to the close of escrow. Okay? Yeah, let's go.
If you currently own a house, you still can.
100%. This was the talking points to your past clients. Think about how many of your buyers from the last 2-3 years, homes have gone up in value, but not a ton. Some areas, not at all. But how many people put 5% down, 10% down, and they love to put in a pool. They'd love to remodel their kitchen. They'd love to remodel their bathroom, but they don't have the savings to do it, and they don't have the equity to do it. You could call every single one of them because we're all calling our past clients. Right? Right? Okay, cool. We can call every single one of them and tell them about this program and just say, hey, do you guys have any dreams of refinancing your house? I'm not refinancing your house, remodeling your house? Refis. I'm dreaming of refis, by the way. There we go. But do you have any dreams or any desires to remodel your house? Are you stoked in your kitchen? Do you love your bathrooms? Well, cool. We got a program for you. Okay? And you guys are going to be blown away by how inexpensive this thing is. It's wild. Yes, ma'am.
I might be out of line with this question, Adam, but they have to be approved for the amount including the remodel amount, right?
Yeah, 100%.
If they're only approved for $1 million, they can't buy $1 million
Yeah.
house and then have 200,000.
Yep, great question. You are completely out of line, but great question. What Jen was asking is, you have to still be approved for it, right? The answer is 100% yes. Is someone who's at a 49.99% DTI going to be able to apply for this thing and make it happen? No, it's not going to happen. But if you're at like 45 and below, 40 and below, which Polly and I have a client right now who fits the mold. I'm so excited for him, right? 100% they can make it happen. And there's a lot of people like that. Yes, Cindy?
Just so I understand, the 10-year interest only.
Yep.
What's left on the principal, is that then divided by the 20-year fix?
After the 10-year draw period is over, just like a standard HELOC, then it goes to a 20-year adjustable. Okay? It's adjustable, but it's based on the Federal Reserve, which is the prime index. Okay, so it's a very stable thing. And remember, once the remodeling's done, they could refinance that into a fixed rate second. Okay? We've got fixed rate seconds right now at like 7.25.
Okay.
Which is pretty awesome. And remember, you'd finish the remodeling, and now your home value is going to be that much more.
And when you say 95% of the reno value, we've gotten the bids. So
Yep.
do you take the medium one? Say I got 3 bids. What number?
Cindy's going to give the rest of the presentation for us, you guys. Here we go. No, I'm just kidding. To answer your question, she's 100% right. You take the bids, and that gets appraised. That's how they do the appraisal, is off the bids. So you're 100% correct. Here we go. So what I didn't explain to you guys about the FHA 203Ks and all this stuff is that it's so clunky and so slow. In order to get money for the contractors,
Draws along the way.
it does, but watch this process. You have to get the HUD counselor, who you have to schedule that person to come out, inspect it, and then go back to the bank and tell them, hey, bank, you can release the money now. That could take 2 weeks, 3 weeks. What's every smart contractor going to do? They're going to take the people off the job and go work another one until they can come back to your project again, right? With this ARV HELOC, there's no consultant, and you control the checkbook. You've got the checking account, right? There's no, let me get that consultant in there so I can stroke you a check. It's, hey, I'm a big boy, I'm a big girl. You finish the work, this part, here's the check, go, right? And of course, as a homeowner, you want to be watching that estimate, right? Because shady things can happen, but there's always risk, right? Here we go. Did I skip one? No consultant and lender post-close. Oh yeah, there is, on these HELOCs, it's $149 a month until it closes. Why? Because you have a consultant that you can call as the homeowner who will walk you through what it is you need to do. They actually guide you through the steps, okay? You have like a little consultant in your back pocket. Guidelines, 640 credit score and above. It's not like it's for the, elite. Owner-occupied second homes, 1 to 2 units. I'll just read it off there. 43% max, but if you have a 720 credit score, you can go to a 45% max DTI, okay? Minimum loan amount, 50 grand. We can't do anything less than 50 grand. But look at that maximum. $750,000 max, right?
Well, considering a stupid pool is $100K with nothing.
Oh yeah, that's like digging the hole.
Kitchen's 50, a bathroom's 25.
Yeah.
You're 250 already.
100%.
It's easy to spend the money, right?
100%, absolutely. HELOC rates, prime plus whatever it is, eligible renovations, additions, extensions, kitchens, bathrooms. I use my little pointer because it's kind of cool. No, I don't get to, sorry. Interior ADUs. This is such a big one. I've had so many clients where they want an ADU. They really want an ADU, and they're specifically telling you guys, great question. How many agents have been told by clients, we want to buy a house with an ADU? Right? Awesome. Now, what if you had a single family home that had a big backyard and they could put in the ADU? Awesome. Yes, Linska.
Do you include the manufactured ADUs in it?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'll get the answer to you, though. Yeah. Riley, will you type that down? Type in, can we do a manufactured home ADU?
Specify how manufactured.
Yeah, just shoot me an email. I'll get that. That's a great question. And then who's all been on like the Oceanside website, or maybe it's Carlsbad, I forget which one it is. And they have all those pre-planned ADUs where if you just use that ADU, it fast tracks the entire process for you and saves you a ton of money. So is it Carlsbad? Okay, cool.
County too.
What is it? County as well?
San Diego.
Oh, does it really? Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
We're good with it.
Oh, did you guys hear that? County of San Diego, they have some pre-planned ones where you can just go pick them up, put them in. Yeah.
How is it
Lousy floor plan. But if it brings in that rent. Well, I'll tell you this. My wife and I are doing my wife designed 3-unit in the back of one of our rental properties right now. If you can get the pre-planned ones, get the pre-planned ones. Get the pre-planned ones.
Plus the engineering's all done.
Oh, okay. Joel just said that Riverside will use the San Diego plans as well. That's pretty awesome. Okay. Outdoor improvements, pools, decks, porches, roofings. There isn't a limitation on what you can do. Okay. Things that you can't do. Renovations in process, right? Let's say you're buying a home, they're looking at a home that someone made it halfway through and they ran out of money, now they're selling the house. Sad, but it happens, right? You're not going to get those. It says case by case, but it requires so much work just to find out, okay? Because what happens is the bank doesn't know what the other contractor did, right? Or maybe it wasn't even a contractor. And I don't know if you guys know this, but people do some pretty crazy things to their homes. Uninhabitable. It's actually a funny story. I bought my first house and I did all the renovation myself, right? And I've never done renovation before. I never even worked a construction job before. And I was like hanging sheetrock, mudding tape and the whole bit. And it got to the hardwood floor. My wife's like, we got to put a hardwood floor. I'm like, let's put hardwood floor in. I started at one end of the house, got a little bored of that end, and I started at the other end of the house. Well, it turns out that when they come together, it won't fit perfectly when they come together. So whoever's living in Poway on that road, every time they walk over that house, I ended up using glue to fill in the cracks at the end. It was hysterical. Anyways, people do crazy things. Not intended for purchase appraisals like cost secure, no health and safety issues, right? So if you've got like, I don't know, a cracked foundation, you're not going to get the ARV HELOC on that. If you got a missing roof, you're not going to get it on that, okay? Tear downs, rebuilds, not intended for jobs under 50K. There's actually a personal loan that I just found doing this research that people can take up to 50K, which I thought was pretty cool. It's like 11%, but it's an option, okay? I mean, credit cards out now, what, 23, 35, 40%, which is pretty wild. Yeah. This thing gives you 11 times more borrowing power than an average HELOC because you can go to 95% of the ARV. And I'll be honest, I just found that slide online. I wasn't sure what it meant, but I know you can get more than you can with regular HELOC, okay? Here's where, this is so important right here. This is it. This is what I want to show you guys. Let's say you're buying a home at $500,000 and the client is putting 5% down, right? And these examples should be in your packet. With the improvements, kitchen, primary bath, flooring, $52,000, you get an expected ARV of $555,000 after renovated value. You put in a new kitchen, primary bath, flooring, we're hoping to get the value up to $555,000, okay? That would get you $52,250 cash that you get to work with. 20-year term, and by the way, this is an interest-only loan, so the payments are actually cheaper than this, but I put it on a 20-year term and amortized it at 8.375, which is the actual rate, because I wanted you guys to see the higher payment, okay? $451. New kitchen, primary bath, and flooring. $451. A lot of people can afford that. You can take a home that needs a new kitchen, primary bath, and flooring, and all of a sudden they're like, I'm not looking at this property, this thing's disgusting, to, yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. I can get exactly what I want, and my payment's only $451. Car payments. I had no idea how much car payments were now. Like, I had to go to a dealer. My transmission dropped to one of my trucks, and I had to go to the dealership, but I was blown away by how much cars cost. Like, unreal. Now I understand why people have $1,200 car payments. It was unreal, right? $451 for a new kitchen, bath, and flooring, okay? Next example. Let's say you're buying a $500,000 home. Your client's got 10% down. A lot of people have that, right? Not a ton, but a lot. If you put in kitchen, bathroom, flooring, another bathroom, and paint the place, costs 77 grand, we're hoping that raises the value up to 555,000, right? I think that's pretty safe to say it will. 20 years, 8.375, $662 a month over a 20-year term. Okay? That's not bad for getting all brand new stuff in your house. Can I get a yay? 100%. And that's what this line is right here. You're not buying a $500,000 home. This is what we got to get across to the clients. You're buying a $555,000 home. Does that make sense? Yes. You're buying this thing after. And remember, you put in this much stuff, and here's the other thing too. as agents, this is where you guys are coming in. If that's at the top of the market and you're not going to be able to get that much value out of the home when you do these things, that's where you guys kind of got to guide the clients. Like, there's no way you're getting that much value if you do these things, right? But if you can get a discount on the price and put all this stuff in, 100% you can get that, right? Does that make sense? Cool. $600,000 home, putting 5% down, plugging all those things, kitchen, bathroom, flooring, second bath, paint, $71,000. We're going to get a $675,000 value. That's what we're going for, right? They could pull out $71,000, cost them $613 a month. Still super affordable. Over here, $800,000 home, putting 10% down. If you can get a $900,000 after renovation value, gives you $135,000 to play with. You can do a lot in a home for $135K. You're not buying an $800,000 home, you're buying a $900,000 home. Does that messaging ring, does that ring clear? Yes.
Is there a comparative analysis of if they were to buy a $900,000 home without any reno, what their full payment would
100%.
be versus the two separate payments? And
boom! Look at this right here. Check it out. Here we go. $800,000 purchase price. Right? No, I love it. $800,000 purchase price. Let's say your client wants to buy an $800,000 home, but they can't get all the things that they want, so they're going to settle for this $800,000 home, right? Doesn't have new kitchen, doesn't have new bathrooms, needs flooring, and they're going to think that they're going to do it over time. Who's remodeled their own house? Right. We've lived in my house right now for 6 years, and my wife and I have done it piece by piece by piece over the 6 years. We're just now, my kids go back to college, we're just now doing our bathrooms after living there for 6 years, right? Here's what people don't know, and it's not their fault, they should know. When you remodel something, that's money coming out of your pocket. That is a cost out of your pocket. You're not doing anything else in your life besides doing that remodel, right? Versus, and it's going to take you years to do it, or it might not ever happen at all, right? If you buy an $800,000 home, you have to settle, it has none of the things you like, 5% down, which is 40 grand, $760 loan amount, grand total payment is at $6,105. Let's say you go buy a $700,000 home, right? You're going to take out $77,000 from the property, and you get your new kitchen, bathroom, flooring, whatever it is that you're going to do, and you have a $662 payment. You're at $6,003, but your house is dialed the way you want it, versus $6,100, and it's hoping that you can scrape together the money to remodel it someday.
The other thing that pops in my mind is as you piecemealed it,
Yeah.
cost of goods. If you would have done it down for 7 years ago, like you do it all now, and but you're saving money over the next 7 years.
Yep.
Because that bathroom's going to double in price.
What Cindy's saying is 100% true. The cost to put in a pool now, when we put ours in, was X. We're told by the same pool contractor, it's double. It's double, which is wild. So if you can do it now and avoid the cost of goods going up, which they will, this is how it works. Inflation works on everything, right? Here we go. Does that make sense, though?
And so you're saying this $700,000 example is after the renovations is now worth $800,000.
Exactly. Right. And like the ARV is like the 777, but it's a really super close example. And we'll never know exactly how much the home is going to be valued at after the renovations, but that's what should happen, right? How many times have we seen flippers and they bought the house for $500,000, they sold it for $1 million, right? It's not out of reach to think that you're going to put in a new kitchen, new bathroom, new flooring, and that the house will be $100,000 more. It's just not. That's not a crazy thought. It happens all the time.
Well, the payment's $100 less,
Yep.
and it's to your likes, not to what the flipper used, which looks like it came off the shop at Home Depot.
And you put $5,000 down less, right? And right now is the time to do this, you guys. The reason why I'm so excited about this program, 8 months ago, we ain't doing this, right? It's not happening. It's just homes, or maybe a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, it wasn't happening. But now with homes sitting, and people have the time to actually take and consider if they want to buy a house or not, now's the time for these type of products, right? And by the way, applying for this loan doesn't slow your purchase down. It's not like we got to do a 60-day escrow. I could do a 21-day close. You guys could we can figure out the HELOC form after closing, right? We just got to know that if we do some renovations to this property, what's that value going to be?
Well, and that's what's sitting right now, because buyers right now want them pristine and perfect.
Absolutely.
They just look a little old, a little tired, and a little 1991. They're not having it. And those are the ones that are at market time. And now you can be aggressive.
Yeah. Crystal and I are working on a file right now. VA purchase, like nothing you guys all done VA purchases. And the closing costs are going to be $15,000. The property's been sitting for, a week. And the agent accidentally put in a $6,000 credit for the closing costs. And I was like, ooh, you're going to have to go back and ask for 15. We have to have it. The listing agent goes, okay. As soon as she asked, okay. So we can get things like this. You guys are all experiencing. Not in every market. I understand that. It's not every market this is going to work, right? But I know there are a ton of homes that are sitting, and this is where the creative part comes to play. How do we get clients excited about this? There's a ton of great websites out there. Okay, a ton of great websites. If you guys haven't been on this, like when I was going through these websites, I was like, Josh, you should be a realtor. I was getting excited about it. I legit was. Because I think doing these things, go above and beyond, taking a couple extra steps, is really what shows your value. Go to house.com, Remodel AI app, Magic Plan app, Home Design, Planner 5D, Cabinets, CraftMade. IKEA's got some great stuff. They got some great stuff. I want to show you guys something, a little brag. Our own Megan Moore back there goes on to IKEA, because I just had her do it really quick. In 1 hour, she's never used their program before, not looking to buy a house, isn't a realtor, doesn't know clients. Took her family home from when she's a kid, loaded it up, and recreated this thing in IKEA. 19 grand. Island. IKEA prices everything out for you, right? Who can't be creative enough to teach themselves how to use these sites? And when you're showing clients homes that are clunky, or what do we say, fixer-uppers? Showing fixer-uppers? And you can't bring this? Here's how cool these apps are. You take a picture of the kitchen, you upload it into the app, and it designs right over the kitchen. And you bring that the second time you show the property to the client. Hey guys, not bad, not bad. All for the low price of $461 a month, right? But wait, there's more. Here we go. That's the kitchen right there. It's just creativity, right? It's just thinking outside the box. And why not? You're on the 37th home that you showed these people, right? Why not show them a property? Why not show them renovation plans if it takes you an hour to work up? And if you become super efficient at it, it takes you 30 minutes to work up. Yes, Sheree?
ChatGPT, the one you pay for.
Yeah.
And they take a picture, and then you can tell it what you want it to look like, and ChatGPT will create a picture for you with a battery model and fix that.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, you guys, ask ChatGPT who you are. My daughter did it as we're sitting at the dinner table just 2 nights ago. And it was crazy. It asked my older son, he's like, who's Parker Jelsing? And it gave this long, detailed explanation about he's this and that, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, wow, that's wild. So, anyways. Oh, it was. It all nailed it. Yeah.
I asked ChatGPT on roast Walmart, or roast Carlsbad.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Oh, that's so funny.
What they come up with.
Yeah. If you guys aren't using the AI stuff yet, which I'm not an IT guy by any means, right? I'm still pounding the keyboard. It's amazing the stuff that it'll do. For the younger people, you guys are probably using it all the time, and you're like, these old people. Here we go. So get in there. HELOC, how does it work? Timeline infographic. Look at how it's doing this. Talk about technology. That's pretty cool. Pre-approval with, first step, pre-approval, right? Always. And by the way, I know so many of you guys are forced to do Rocket Home Loans and Zillow Home Loans. I get it. I guarantee Zillow does not have this program. If you're looking for a reason to refer Josh Jelsing when you can't because they're stuck with Zillow, hey, ask Zillow if they have a renovation HELOC. Oh, they don't? Okay, cool. Let's call Josh. Boom, here we go. Pre-approval with PGS. Find a contractor. That's a big one, you guys. I get a phone call a lot hey, we want to do the renovation loan. And they don't have a contractor or even thought about a contractor, right? If you have clients that are interested in this, partner up. And by the way, this is another great value add for you guys as agents. If you guys have a VIP list, your insurance people, your, whatever people, get a couple contractors on your list that you speak to regularly, right? befriend them, because if you get them some business, they'll come run into a property because they know you're serious, right? Be good to your contractors. Find a contractor, find a property, contractor generates a bid, get your offer accepted, off to the races, okay? What we need, income, credit, assets, all the standard stuff. There is a detailed estimate. I put an Excel spreadsheet on your guys' table just as an example. And this one's on this like super complex, like whatever property. It's an estimate, just like the examples I gave in the slide. They just have to have Excel spreadsheet. It's not even some fancy form. If you guys look at the FHA 203K estimates, it's wild how complicated it is, right? So we take the estimate, we give it to the underwriting department for the renovation team. They review it. They go back and forth with the contractor to make sure that everything meets the standards for that area, okay? Because you might be in Rancho Santa Fe and the contracting costs are going to be more than if you're out in Ramona, right? It's just how it is. So they actually look at the area that you're in and they dial that in, okay? Contractor's questionnaire, it's a form in there, real simple form to fill out, copy of their license. That's it, okay? What's the process? Licensed contractor needs to complete the contractor questionnaire, detailed estimate of the project from the contractor. Estimate goes through our underwriting process. This can take 2 or 3 days, by the way, or it can take 2 or 3 weeks. It just depends on how fast the contractor can communicate, okay? Files approved, loans funded. The client receives a checkbook that they control, okay? They don't even send anybody out to the property afterwards to make sure that things have started, okay? There's a $149 fee per month in order to keep the process going. It's to have a consultant, and it's also to motivate the people to actually finish the project. But they could not start for a couple of years. They really could. Yes, ma'am.
Can they use different contractor?
They absolutely can. So here's the crazy part about it, you guys. The question was, can they use a different contractor, right? And I don't want to promote burning contractors at all. If they do the work, we want to try to stick with them, right? But once you have that checkbook in your hand, there's no follow-up. Reading between the lines?
So I can go to Vegas.
Say again, Lenska?
I can go to Vegas to do it.
100%, absolutely. That's where we're all going with Lenska to Vegas, right? No, but here's my point. There's no follow-up. It's, will the project get done or not, right? These homeowners are big boys and big girls. They're responsible for finishing this project. Honestly, and they don't want me saying this, but if you wanted to just self-contract the thing yourself and use all your handymen, great. You already got this. And by the way, on the FHA 203Ks, USDAs, there is no leeway from the original plans. Why? There's no changes. You have to build what's on that estimate, right? And that's where the HUD counselor comes in. And if what's on that estimate wasn't done, they're not releasing the funds. With this thing, it's approved. You got the checkbook. Know what I'm saying? Yeah. Right, exactly. There we go. Yes. Oh, this is being recorded. We got to cut that last part out, edit before we post it. Yes, Joel.
So the $149 a month, is that start after the work starts, or does that
Immediately. Immediately. Yep. Exactly.
That's for the life of the 20 years.
Only for the draw period.
Only for the draw.
Yeah. So I'll tell you guys right now, like one of my plans would be to put them into a fixed rate second afterwards. I just think it's more responsible. People don't have to, but if you can get like a 7.375% 20-year fixed rate loan on a second, it takes all the guesswork out of their payments, that kind of stuff. But you don't have to. You could be interest only for 10 years. Rate might go up, rate might go down, but they're fantastic loans, okay?
In which states are you licensed?
I've got 13 states that I'm licensed in, so no, but we'll definitely get to Washington, Oregon, California, Utah, Florida, Texas, Arizona, Pennsylvania.
You need to do a post on your Instagram, not on the stories, on your Instagram where we can reference back to that.
It's up there.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Just reference that. Yep. Here we go. Now, sorry. So, any questions on this? The HRV is it HRV? ARV. Excuse me. HRV. I think is electric car. ARV HELOC. Any questions?
I hope I didn't miss anything. Can this be tied with the judge of the VA?
So the answer is yes, it can be behind a VA loan, but what's going to happen is it still comes down to that ARV. So VAs are going to be 0 down, and if they have a funding fee, that's going to eat further into it. So as long as all of the renovations that are going to be done adds up to what they can fit the repairs into, you're good to go. 100%. There's no, your loan type on the first does not matter.
Okay, and then also, what's the amount of time they have to hold this loan? Do they just pay it off like in 6 months, 3 months, 2 months?
100%. There's no prepayment penalties. They can pay this thing off and be done. Absolutely.
Pay the 150 if you pay it, become 0.
If it's, yes, the answer is yes. If it's in that 10-year draw period, that 150 does not go away. That's why my thought was refinance that thing, get rid of the 150 and call it a day, right? You know what? I stand corrected. I apologize. I just said that 149 is on the draw. I am fully incorrect on that one. What happens is once the work's completed, they have to send the appraiser back out to the property to show that the work is done. They do a re-inspection. Does that make sense? And then the 149 stops. Okay. Sorry, I'm glad you made me think about that. I'm just making things up here. By the way, the program, what's that?
That 150 is in addition to the payment that you were showing us?
Yeah. The 150 is addition to the payment. Exactly. So it motivates him to get the work done. Right? Get the checkbook. Okay, any other questions on that program? No, and I'll say one more thing about it. I just had a train of thought and I've forgotten. Oh, back to young buyers. I guess it doesn't have to be young. Any buyer, especially if you have kids, like doing this every 2 to 3 years and just rolling the equity from property to property, I love the idea. I wish I would have done something like that. So, and for you guys as agents, if you get someone that's into that plan and they like that idea, I guess I'll list the property for you and I guess I'll help you buy another property, right? It's a little annuity you got going on. Just build the plan and they will come. Here we go. We got any other questions on the ARV HELOC?
I just want to make sure I'm clear. So
Yeah.
let's say I close escrow, right? I have the loan, I'm paying the 150 a month. I'm able to complete work in 3 months.
Yeah.
Inspector comes out.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Says, yes, it's all done. That's when the 20-year term would start and the 150 would fall off.
Great question. Did you guys all hear that question? Once the work is completed, the appraiser goes back out to the property. Once they sign off that the project's done, the 149 stops, but you're still on that 10-year draw period, right? So what's cool is that, what if you took a $77,000 HELOC, we only used $55,000, right? You still got 20 grand left over. If all the project is signed off and done, you still got a HELOC for $20,000.
So you don't have to pay the 150.
Exactly, 100%. Great question. Any other questions on the ARV HELOC? Polly, do you have a question?
Yeah, she does.
Come on, Polly.
No, I'm just saying you don't have to use the full 50. Like say the minimum is 50. If your remodel's only going to cost 30, you still have that 20 available. That's what you just said.
Yeah, so the estimate that goes in has to be 50. But once you have that HELOC, and you decide just to do 20, it's on you. Totally. You might still be paying the 149 until the project's done, but you could definitely do that.
So you only pay interest on whatever you take out.
Exactly. And here's the other part, is that you pay as you go. So it's not like, let's say you're doing $135,000 on the HELOC, and the project takes 6 months to do, right? You do an initial draw of $20,000, then you need 20 more, and then you need 25 more after that. So the payments go up throughout the months as you draw more. You're not paying on the 135 immediately from the get.
And once the interest resets, you said it's an adjustable, right?
Yeah, it's an adjustable rate mortgage. So the index is the Federal Reserve. So everybody remembers hearing about the Fed's raising rates, the Fed's lowering rates, right? That has a direct impact on these HELOCs, on all HELOCs, by the way. It's called the prime index. And so if the Fed raises it, then you're going to see the rate go up. If it goes down, it goes down. But prior to this whole inflation stuff, that prime index was pretty stable for a long, long time.
But is it month to month or you get
Yeah.
3 months?
No, it's whenever the Fed decides to raise, right? And you'll know because it always makes national news. Fed cut rates, boom. Next month your payment will be less or it'll be more.
But remember last time the Fed cut the rates and the mortgage rates went up?
Yeah, so little quick tutorial on interest rates, guys. The Fed does not control mortgage rates, right? The Fed only controls the Fed fund rate. So when the Fed cuts rates or raises rates, it might have, usually what happens is mortgage interest rates go the exact opposite way in the short term. And then eventually they should be going the same direction, but that's not always the case. Okay.
Real quick.
Yeah.
So the they use it all up, they're still paying the 149 a month.
Until they use it all, well, not use it all up until the project's finished and they get the appraiser back out there to verify that everything in that estimate is done.
Then the 149 drops off.
Right, exactly. You got.
If there's another project, does the 149 come back?
No, because once the estimate that was provided is done, that's it.
There's no more projects.
Exactly. Great question. Any other questions on that, you guys? I just think this is such a phenomenal product. You got clients who want to buy and they're not seeing what they see. And you guys see the payments aren't that high, right? People can afford that. So here we go. Repair escrow. I love this one too, okay? We have one lender that does this and they will allow an escrow holdback up to 10% of the value of the home. 10% of the value of the home. So if you have an $800,000 home, they'll let you do an escrow holdback to $80,000 on a Fannie Mae Freddie Mac loan, okay? Now, what can you use that for? Because you're not going to use all $80,000. Let's say there's missing flooring. I just looked at a property yesterday. It was missing flooring. You just didn't have any flooring. With a normal loan, FHA, VA, conventional, you can't buy that house with missing flooring. You can't. Well, at this lender, you can buy that house with no flooring and then install the flooring after you're done. They sign off on it. They take care of everything you're done, right? Let's say it has 2 bathrooms and one of them's completely gutted. You guys have seen that before. Yep. Like they started a project and they couldn't. Well, as long as one bathroom's operable and they can finish the project in 90 days, you can buy a house with no bathroom and fix it through this escrow holdback. And it's called a repair escrow because it's not the escrow company that does it, it's the lender that does it. Okay? So that opens up properties. Great for electrical issues. If it's missing kitchen cabinets, I see that pretty regularly. Just the cabinets are gone. Right? Like you can buy a house. You can't do the Fannie Freddie FHA without that, right? Works on roofing items, exterior items like retaining walls, concrete issues, that kind of thing. Who's had a VA loan? Not VA is a bad example, where the retaining wall is falling and they call it out in the appraisal. 100%. You can't get a Fannie Freddie loan like that. You can with this type of program, okay? So when you're looking at these properties, you're like, there's no way it's going to go. Let me know. Let's take a look at it. Let's send it over to this lender and see if they'll lend on it or not. We can get answers quick.
So heater doesn't work. That's another one.
Yeah, 100%. HVAC. Doesn't have a heating. Absolutely.
There, but it's broken.
Yep. And you could always do like 100%. Absolutely. Right. And remember, this works too when sellers say we ain't fixing nothing. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the buyer still has to fund it, but you can't buy the house any other way, and they won't let you in the house to fix it before the close of escrow. Maybe it's a trust sale or something like that. With this, you absolutely can. It can be buyer or seller funded, okay? Buyer or seller funded. Max 10% of the value. We talked about that. You have to have 2 licensed contractor estimates. Okay, they want 2 because they don't want some guy just going out and getting a buddy. I mean, I guess you get 2 friends and give someone a ball, but they want it done right? That's the point of it. Contractor, this one's tough. Contractor has to float the project, okay? Now, the contractor can be motivated because if they can float the project, then they can knock it all out and get paid immediately afterwards. Same thing, send the appraiser back out to the property. Appraiser signs off on it, and you're done. There's no HUD counselor or anything like that, okay? Bank controls the post-escrow funds. Escrow's closed. All parties move on. The title company, escrow company, seller, they're out of it, right? 90 days to complete the repairs, and there's a $200 reinspection fee. That's how the contractor gets his money. Okay, so if the contractor is going to float it and they've got the ability to do so and they're motivated to make that thing happen, get it done, get it re-inspected, release the funds. That's called a repair escrow. Really awesome program. So what do you say to your clients? Check out the scripts. I think there's scripts in the actual package. Okay, these scripts are important. Here's the thing about scripts. Instead of scripts, they're actually confidence dialogues. Right? Confidence dialogues. You practice scripts not to have a script so you can memorize it. You have it so it's at the tip of your tongue so that when it comes up, you remember what to say. Okay? Confidence dialogues. Don't call them scripts anymore. And if you guys need anything at all, want more information, want us to explain it to clients, that's what we're here for. You know how to give us a call, email, text, any other PGS loan officer that you're working for. They're all phenomenal loan officers. Call, email, text them, but we're ready to rock and roll all the time. Thank you. I appreciate you all so much. Absolutely. I Was that helpful? Do you think you guys could use that and actually talk to clients about it? Like, do you see value in it? Yes. Right, and again, I know it's not for every client, I get it, but for some clients on some properties, yes? Can I get an amen? Amen. All right, perfect. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Was lunch good? Yes? I love that. So, you guys can all go to joshjelsingmarketing.com. There's no flyers for it yet, but there's going to be. There's going to be a whole section on renovation loans, which you have to build that section on. Renovation loans, and we're going to build out a whole bunch of them. So now I've done this. I'll build out the entire marketing for it as well, so that when you guys are, I think for listing agents, if you have some, a listing is a little bit, it's a fixer, have some go to one of those websites, fix some things up, and it's like, hey, we got the ability to finance this for you. Look at that cost, right? It's a great way to spruce up a property. But yes, 100%. We're gonna do a whole marketing pay for it so that you guys have access to all of it. Yeah. Was the food good? Yes. Mendocino Farms did all right? All right, cool. Thank you guys.